This is Ricky from Of Sulfur, and you're watching Richard Metal Fan.
Hey everyone, it's Richard Metalfan here, bringing you guys the last 2023 album review for today. And as you can see by the title, today we're going to be talking about the debut full-length album from a new band entitled The Burden of Faith by the band Of Sulfur. Now, for those of you who don't know who Of Sulfur are, they're a kind of a blackened symphonic deathcore band from Las Vegas, Nevada. They've been around since 2020, and this is a band that has Ricky Hoover, who used to sing for the band Suffocate. Back then he used to be really skinny, had like freaking stretched ears the size of dinner plates, but now if you see him, he's like fucking ripped and has long hair and shit. But yeah, Of Sulfur are definitely, it's been around since 2020, and I know in 21 they released their debut EP entitled Oblivion, which is a really great EP, and I was really looking forward to seeing what this band had to offer. And this, for their debut album, I think they really hit the ground running. Like, it has moments of almost metalcore, but also has hints of like the symphonic deathcore, or with bands like Lorna Shore and Shadow of Intent, with some hints of like black metal, like Dark Funeral and stuff. And I think like every member on this album just has like their style. One thing to note about is the vocals from Ricky Hoover, my buddy. Ricky's vocals, it's hard to describe. He has like those sick kind of like black metal-y vocals, but then goes to low gutturals. And he actually, as opposed to on the Oblivion EP, this album actually, first time he actually does clean vocals on this album, because I know on the Oblivion EP it was mostly their guitarist Chase Wilson that does the cleans, but Ricky does like a lot of the clean singing on here, and he just puts a lot of like emotion and power to it. When I first heard one of the songs, I believe it was Earthen, I was like, damn, he can really sing. And I just really showcases on here. And the guitar work on this album is tight. Chase Wilson just comes with some really great riffs, and I know he sings a little bit just to like back up Ricky at some parts, but Chase's guitar playing just come up with some really great riffs. The bass playing on this album I kind of wish was a little bit audible from Ding. I think the bass could hold down a really good foundation, and the drumming from Levi, yeah, I don't know how you say his name, it's some weird nickname that he comes with. Like, the drumming is just the real forte. Just come up with some really just pounding riffs on here. Yeah, and so without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now, starting things off is Stained and Rot. Now, right from the get-go, this song combines bellowing guttural growls with the cleans that end up making me raise my eyebrows like, what? And just is really impressive, like how well it fits. It proves that Ricky is a triple threat vocalist, and Ricky, who I would expect to talk about for years to come. Like, especially with like newer vocalists like CJ McMahon from Bear's Murder, Joe Bad from Fit for an Autopsy, and Will Ramos from Lorna Shore. In terms of like the delivery and diversity, I just think that Stained and Rot is a really great way to start off this album on a high note. And then we get to the next song, which is Be Fowler. Now, Be Fowler has a guest vocal appearance from Alex Terrible from Slaughter to Prevail. Now, this song commences with the menacing synth, and this song quickly explodes as Ricky takes center stage with his sick gutturals, but as the chorus hits, he offers the cleans that switch back and forth, like kind of like Beauty and the Beast, just like his angelic singing to his demonic growls, and the drums are intense, and so when the breakdown hits, the China Ting thing is nothing short of like that, especially which shows an introduction for Alex's bellowing vocals, which are just sinister as they are fulfilling, and it just gives me chills when I hear it. Next up is Unraveling, and this song has another guest appearance, this time from my homie Taylor Barber from Left to Suffer. Like, I think his vocals on this song is just great. It complements him, and Ricky's are on here really great. Next song on the album is called Death of Circumstance. Now, Ricky's vocals on here just take center stage yet again, and amongst like the fleeting guitar riffs and really great solo, those frantic drums and the operatic kind of like synth in here. But the real kicker, especially like near the very end, where his clean vocals just show up out of nowhere, and it's just really good. And just the vocal delivery and diversity in the deathcore style can be hit and miss at times, but when it's executed with precision, the end result can take a band from local heroes to like legends in a matter of just minutes. Moving on to Earthen. Now, this song is just so good. Now it's jumping on sort of like the symphonic deathcore bandwagon, and we find like Ricky sounding more sinister than ever before as the band sort of like surrounds his vocals with some menacing riffs, harmonic pinches, and an audio just assault that'll just raise the eyebrows. And the chorus features the only clean section of the track, giving us like a moment to catch our breaths before the chaos just goes back at it again. Next up is A Path to Salvation. And now this song I could consider kind of like a little interlude. It's a synthesizer dormant which ends with a chorus of clean vocals, which leads right into the next song, I Apostate. Now the synthesizer passage is like the bookend of the song as well, but it also gets lost in the mix when everything's played at once. And the simplistic chant that serves as a song chorus, which carries a lot of weight, and then the lead solo in the following breakdown is another example of just like great guitar work. Next up is Wide Open. Now this song features the great Howard Jones, of Light the Torch and formerly of Killswitch Engage, because I know they released this last year without it, but hearing this new version is really great. And the interplay with him and Ricky is just a high point and possibly my favorite element on this album. And this song has like the lowest bass drops on the album, and they punctuate the song well. And the synth passages are very overpowering. And this is another song with some killer lead guitar work on here. Next up is the Glorious Archetype, another really sick song. Like I think like this album just flows really well within one another. And then we close things out with the title track, The Burden of Faith, and this one features Kyle Medina of Body Snatcher and my good friend Lindsay Schoolcraft. And this song delivers on all fronts, from Lindsay's like harmonious clean vocals to the well-timed bass drops at the end. I feel like Lindsay's vocals on here are more enough to balance like Ricky's and of course Kyle's vocals, and the point where Lindsay's clean vocals ends and Medina's growls and rasps begin, coupled with sort of like the onslaught of the instrumentation, is perfectly abrupt. And I pretty much Sulfur knows how to end this on a high note. Now overall, The Burden of Faith by Sulfur, really great debut album. They definitely hit the ground running. I'm pretty sure I'm looking forward to what they've got coming up in the future. So if I were to give this album a score, I'm gonna give The Burden of Faith by Sulfur a solid 9 out of 10. So yeah, that's my review of the album, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, and I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal.